Hey y'all. In today's video, we're going to take a look at connecting the Collibra data quality system to a SQL Server database that's been deployed on a virtual machine in the Azure cloud. Now let's get to work. The first thing we need to do is to create a login in the SQL Server that Collibra is going to use to access data. And so what I've done is I've launched SSMS, and then down here in the Security tab, we're going to right mouse click and hit New Login. And then we need to create a login name. I like to use a name that makes sense. So for me, it's ALLJOY data underscore Collibra underscore SA for like service account. Now, this is going to be accessing the SQL Server from outside of the server. So this is not going to be Windows authenticated. So I'm going to put in a password. I'm going to grab this off the other screen. Let me grab that real quick here. And you want to make sure you put a complex password in, just in case anybody ever tries to get to the data or tries to log into your server that they can't like guess that out. And then I am going to take off a couple of things because it's a service account. I don't want SQL enforcing a password policy. I've got a good password in and I want to stay that way. I don't want it to change when I log in. I don't want it to come up every 3 months. I want Collibra and SQL just to have a good time talking to each other. And then we're going to go over to server roles. That is going to stay just as it is, as just public. We're not doing a whole server role here. We're going to map the user to a specific database. We're going to say AdventureWorks LT, and then we're going to say data reader. Now that should be all that we need to make sure that this is working. And then what I like to do is to make sure that I've at least understood what is happening on the SQL side, I'll go ahead and try to log on to SQL Server using the account that I just created. So if you come to your server and you hit connect, it's going to try to make a new connection. And instead of using my Windows authentication, I'm going to use the Collibra with the password, which I think I have still in my clipboard, and hit OK. Now, this is my connection. So I've got two connections now. I've got my first connection, which happened with my Windows login, and now I've got a connection down here with my ALLJOY Data Collibra login. And you're going to want to make sure that you can see the particular database that you're trying to connect to, and then that you have access to look at that data. So I'm looking at it, looks good. And then just to show you here, if I click on this WJT one, I'm not going to be able to access that. And so it kicks me back. But that's okay, because we said we just want read-only to AdventureWorks. We've got it. All right, now we need to log into Collibra and make the connection over to the SQL Server. So you're going to need to log in with administrative rights to be able to do this. And as we get in here, you're going to come to the dashboard, and in the dashboard you're just simply going to click Connect to Data. Now inside of here you're going to see all the different pre-delivered drivers that are come with Collibra. What we're going to be looking for is something that says, and it's right here, it says SQL Server, and then we're going to hit Add. Once we hit Add, there's only a few fields that we need to fill in here, but it's important to get those right. In the name, you're going to give it something that you'll know what you're connecting to. So I'm going to actually give it, let me grab something from this other screen and pull it over here. I'm just going to call it the name of the database, so it's very easy for us to identify. And then I'm going to get the connection string over here. But basically what it is you're putting in your IP address of your server in the cloud with the port, which the default port is going to be 1433, and then you've got to tell it what database name you're going to be connecting to on that SQL Server. So that's going to be the AdventureWorks LT 2016 database. Port is 1433 as the default. Leave the driver name alone, and then drop down here. And then this is where you need to put in your username and password. Again, I'm just copying and pasting some stuff here. so that you don't have to watch me type. But in the username and password, you've got to make sure you use the systems account that we created earlier. And then you've got to click this little folder. This is going to error on you if you don't. And you're going to want to scroll down until you find the one that says MS SQL Server. Do that and then hit save. That's what you're looking for. Now, it took me several tries to figure this out. A couple things that I ran into. One was if I didn't give my user on the SQL Server side read access, it caused issues. And then second of all, I just had to make sure that I had the right IP address, and then everything seemed to work well after that. Now, we're going to go into this connection and look and see if the data will pull across. So I'm going to go down here to this third little icon, and it's going to bring up all the connections that we have. And this is the one that we just made, AdventureWorks LT 2016. Open that up, and it's going to give you all the different owners of the schema. And so you'll find certain tables that DBO owns, and because of the way that Microsoft sets up the AdventureWorks database, you're going to find a lot of the tables for AdventureWorks like under Sales LT, and that's where that data is. You'll see the tables coming up, and then if I click on Customer and Create DQ Job, you'll see it pulling in the data. So we've gone from Collibra back to SQL Server, we've gone in the AdventureWorks database, we've selected a table, we've pulled that information, and now we're ready to start looking at the data quality inside of a table because we made a great connection. I hope this video has been helpful to you. May God bless you and have a great day.